Welcome in, everybody, to the Q Code podcast. This week is a Dream-isode, which means that we take co-host Danny's dreams and we make them reality. I'm
What
just kidding. No,
up?
we don't. We just read them.
Well,
But-
I mean, that kind of does bring it to reality, though, you know?
It
No, it
does.
doesn't.
It goes from the subconscious mind to the conscious mind to piece of paper to being
That's
read out
still
loud
not-
to being recorded to being pushed out into the world.
So by your logic,
Basically-
Harry Potter's also in reality because it went from someone's head into a book.
Yep, and a movie. That's like the next level.
That's true reality there. Movies we know are just straight literal film, nothing added in post.
So as we start this dream, I try to give you guys little hints about the dream with my background. So what would you guys think from the background the dream is
If this is literally you being Keanu Reeves in Speed, well, I think first all it'll be an amazing dream, but it'll probably not be as exciting for everybody else who could just go actually watch Keanu Reeves in Speed.
No,
So-
it wouldn't be as good. I mean, don't mind me if the first line of the dream is pop quiz hot shot.
It
And-
is
The first line of the dream pop quiz hot shot.
And if the dream ends with, oh yeah, but I'm taller.
See, Trav, I told you earlier, Danny can only do references from the 90s. So,
He did say that. He said your movie reference knowledge is pretty limited. This isn't helping your case.
I can't help it that I'm well versed in the 90s.
What was the guy's name again who's also in Dumb and Dumber?
Harry.
Jim Carrey.
No, the other one. Is it Dan? Isn't it Daniel something?
it's Jeff Daniels.
Jeff
I just like
Daniels.
how neither of you get it right. Danny says his name in Dumb and Dumber, and then Trav says Jim Carrey.
I knew it wasn't Jim Carrey, for the record. I just picked
Harry.
the one that wasn't it.
That is his name in the movie.
Isn't it? Yeah, isn't in Speed? Isn't it Harry as well?
Oh,
Jeff-
is it?
No, is it?
I think so. But anyway, it doesn't matter. If you are new to this podcast, or at least to these episodes, we'll sum it up a little bit. Danny has a superpower where he can remember majority of his dreams. So he wakes up, writes them down in story form, and we get to read it to you semi-live here on the Q Code podcast.
And I know we've talked about this before. You say superpower. Sometimes, I mean, I agree. Sometimes it's awesome, but sometimes it's really a curse to be able to remember your dreams in such detail. And you would think, oh, man, you have a nightmare. You wake up, you're haunted by this nightmare.
I can't. I don't think I've ever had a nightmare before.
That's right. Nightmare or whatever you guys call it.
Don't
What's
say it
up,
like a
us?
hit. We're literally saying it the way that it's spelled.
You're the only person in the world. You act like we're the ones that have these.
When you go to the
Nightmare.
African Serengeti, do you see meerkats?
Yeah, I do. Meerkats. But anyway, but sometimes it's the good dreams that are really the curse, if you know what I'm saying.
I don't. Go on.
Yeah.
Like the really good dreams. And then you wake up and you get to remember it all and you gotta like, oh man, it was all fake.
I feel
I mean,
like
the
really-
ones that, as far as your wife is concerned, they're all about her.
Well, I only dream about my wife. She's the only person that I dream about. But
No, most of the time, as we've learned from past dreams, Danny dreams about Hispanic women in tight jeans.
What
was that? The one where you go to the hospital to buy something
Yeah,
at the gift store.
scale speakers or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, Danny gets turns into a self-proclaimed gumshoe private detective to track down a lizard man.
It was a giant iguana.
Teams up with a Hispanic lady with tight jeans, who he later on leaves in a bed.
Wait, is that the one where like
after she gets attacked by the lizard man, because she gets attacked while they're both in the car and Danny just plays dead until she stops moving. Anyway,
Well, there's no sense in us both dying.
is that
So
the
those
dream?
are
It was fine. He just
I think I
sniffed
remember
her
that
head.
one. I'm pretty sure I've
Sniffed
listened
her
to that
head
one.
and then moved on.
Is
so
that
those
the
are the
dream
types
where
of things that you can expect in his dreams if you've never listened to him before. So why don't we get going here? I've never here. You can't really see it because of my background. There you go. And if you're just listening, listen to this paper. That is a brand new dream in story form. I've never read the title until just now. So it is called "You Better Check Yourself Before You Wreck Yourself." Okay.
haven't we had? I swear we've had a dream like that before.
I don't know. It's very possible.
Or it's
but-
just something that Danny used to always say on our podcast.
That one was "You better wreck yourself before you check yourself." It was a different thing.
So
I
here
don't
we
think
go.
I've ever had one called "You Better Check Yourself Before You Wreck Yourself."
Start of dream number 33. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm on a bit of what I'd consider a staycation, as we are on vacation, but only about 90 minutes away from home. We're visiting a nice, small, pristine town tucked back deep in the Rocky Mountains. As I mentioned earlier, it wasn't just me that was on this staycation, but rather a group of us consisting of family and friends.
Hold on 1 second. Sorry, I know we're only like 2 sentences in, but
Oh, you're fine.
he started it, said one sentence, and then said, "As I mentioned earlier," which would be
That's
the
why I
only
paused.
previous sentence, but he didn't mention it in that sentence. This isn't even about your dream, Danny. This is
Oh,
about your
he's-
writing and the general rules of writing.
I think I was referencing the fact that I said we were on a staycation.
We are on vacation, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I don't know that counts. I don't think you can just say a noun or a pronoun or whatever, or a noun and just call it being mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewrite some contracts then.
You just say that with all the conjunctions, like, and I'm using the word "and" as I had previously used the word "and" in that sentence.
Well, my son is like he's in second grade, but they were like giving him his lesson and they were talking about, they're like, there's all sorts of things you can do to make your writing like have a little bit more extra oomph. It's like you can use all these connecting words and things like, because of this, or previously I mentioned, and that's basically what Danny just did there, but he didn't have the source to back it. So my son's second grade teacher, Miss Holt, that would be no good.
Hey, I never claimed to be past the first grade writing level.
But that's what makes his stories so great.
I bet you did claim that, though. Like in your resume, you've probably made some claims that suggest you have passed a first grade level of writing.
I just don't put it in there.
Like, sir, your education here is just blank. You're like, well, let's just say it's first grade and under.
First grade and under.
That reminds me of the movie Ladies Man, where he's got his resume and he's like, "Sir, under extracurricular activities, it says dab it." He goes, "Oh no, that's the butt." Completely not even the same thing, but it just reminded me of it. So, all right, on to the story. Family, in the sense that it's not just my immediate family. But my son Kai's mom and her extended family, needless to say, there are quite a few of us on this trip, and therefore we all pitched in to rent a full house Airbnb. So before we move on, we really must discuss Danny's family dynamic. Because
Trav, this is a 1-hour podcast. I don't know if we have time.
it just must be said. Nowhere else in this world would you say, I'm going on a trip with my wife and my son's mom, another person, and her family who actually invited us to Japan. And nowhere else would anybody, I mean, like, most people would, like, question that. But if it's his family, you're just like, well, that just figures. So.
Wait, that's who you went to Japan with?
Yeah.
Oh.
Alan, you didn't know who he went to Japan with?
No.
Never come up before.
All I know is he made T-shirts before he went, right?
Yeah, so we could wear them on the trip. See,
Normally
people
you
do
buy
it backwards. You
T-shirts
don't
on your
you don't
trip.
get T-shirts at the end of your trip and then bring them home because then you don't get to wear them on your trip.
Well, that brings up another point that Danny only wears shirts that he makes.
True.
So, all right. As I squatted on the side of the road, hunched over with crampy pain in my abdomen. Whoa. I skipped because you ended a sentence twice with the word Airbnb.
Oh,
So,
Trav.
this was all going fine, but at some point during the trip, we all decided to go on a walk around the area we were staying in to get some fresh air.
Wait, hold on. You said it's a Full House Airbnb, like the house that Full House was filmed in?
Or just a
whole house.
whole house.
You're legally not allowed to use the
Oh.
term full house unless you're referring to the show Full House.
Unfortunately,
Even when you're playing poker, you can't say
Yeah.
it. That's why they had
Sweet
to change
and
it to
wheat,
full
boys.
boat.
Well, that looks like a large house there you've got. Overly crowded house of cards. You're darn right it is. This is how people play poker. And
holy mackerel, he's got a DJ Tanner.
3 J.J. Channers and 1 Bob Saget.
He's only playing a 4-card hand? What? Chinese poker.
Yep.
Unfortunately, in the middle of our walk, the feeling of having to drop an epic deuce
Oh.
suddenly hit my colon. Ew. Like a ton of bricks. That is the worst description ever.
How else would you explain it?
You
so
have
it was
to
like
poop.
in Dumb and Dumber when he was like,
I know that we are damn near the midpoint of the walk, which means that we are at the furthest point away from our Airbnb. As I squatted on the side of the road, hunched over with crampy pain in my abdomen, I suddenly get a bright idea. I then pulled out my phone, opened up the Airbnb app, and did a search of available Airbnbs in the area. Lucky for me, there was an available empty Airbnb 2 houses down. I decided that I would walk over to that house in hopes that the door was open so that I could use the bathroom really quick. I then stood up, told myself to man up, and to the best of my ability, scooted on down to the targeted house. After a couple of minutes, I was able to make my way to the front door of the selected Airbnb, twisted the handle and pushed.
Ooshed.
Lo and behold, the door swung wide open with little to no resistance. Excited about my newfound fortune, I hurried through the house until I found a restroom located at the far end of one of the hallways. I shimmied into the bathroom, closed the door behind me, and started pulling down my pants.
Oh.
Wait,
If
hang on, real
Airbnb
quick.
were to listen to this, they would probably withdraw your membership. The fact that subconsciously you thought to abuse the system to find a place to poop.
Real quick, I have to tell a little story. So a few weeks ago, me and some friends went up to Island Park and there was like a house that we got up there. through Airbnb. But I guess they went last year, some of the people, and they were telling me a story about it was like nighttime, and a couple of them were coming home, and one of them had to pee real bad, so he like pulled up to the Airbnb, and he walked in the door and is like, "What's up, bitches?" And then he goes to the bathroom, he uses the bathroom and walks back out, and then he realizes like this isn't the house that we rented. And so they like hurry and they start leaving, and when they get in their car and they're backing out, like some guy comes out and was like, "What the crap? What are you guys doing?" And they just drove off. But yeah, they were telling me a story how he just walks in, "What's up, bitches?" and then uses his bathroom in the wrong Airbnb.
So wait, what took the guy so long to come out?
I don't know. Like maybe he thought it was his friend.
They
Fear.
were scared. It was an
I wouldn't go
intruder.
outside either.
Yeah.
Someone came into my house right now and was like, "What's up, bitches?" and went into my bathroom. I'd be like, best to let that man finish.
That's when you gotta attack when he's vulnerable, though. When he's on the pot.
No. Even the police would be like, "Don't do that."
So every time we pulled up to the house this time, everyone's like, "Are you sure you got the right house?"
All right. However, this moment was too good to be true as I was interrupted by another dude climbing into the same bathroom through a small window that was left slightly ajar by the owner of the house. Oh, sorry. My apologies. Are you
Two
using this
scumbags meet in an Airbnb bathroom, abusing the system.
I wasn't the only one.
Doesn't make it right.
What are you doing? I snap at him. And we're back. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. Let me give you a little recap. Danny had to take a massive deuce. He said the word Airbnb way too many times, snuck into an empty one, and now
I don't know if I used it enough.
Now has confronted another man who is also breaking and entering to use the bathroom. That is where we are. And
I think Airbnb is missing out on a huge opportunity here.
Okay.
You get Airbnb bathrooms, so people can be like, "Ooh,
That is disgusting." I allow a lot in this. I allow a lot because I own this, but I allow a lot to be said here, but I will not stand by if someone suggests Airbnb bathrooms.
Be like, can I rent out your bathroom? I charge by the half hour. That's okay.
Isn't that kind of what
A
you're doing?
half hour?
Isn't that kind of what
using
you're
a
doing?
bathroom for a half hour?
Well, if you got to go really bad.
Ugh.
But that's what I'm saying. If you're like the host, you got to have like a minimum. Like it wouldn't be worth it. Somebody just came in and like peed for like 30 seconds and paid you for 30 seconds of your time. You want to be charged for like, you want to get paid for like a full half hour.
But that's kind of what they do when you walk into like a convenience store and they're like, you can only use the bathroom if you're a customer, and then you have to buy something.
Well, makes sense. But all right. So I told him he thought wrong and also stated that I was here first. So he needed to leave right away. I could tell that the man wanted to protest, but it was obvious that I was in the bathroom first, and he realized he didn't have much of a leg to stand on. Was it because your butt cheeks were already on the toilet?
Yep. That's the saying.
I think
I'm
If you're-
already here, man.
I think we should call this dream squatters' rights.
Yeah,
If you,
we normally find out the reason for Danny's titles like very last sentence of his dreams, and then you would put it all together. We're like, oh yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
well, I'm pretty sure the saying is if your bare butt touches the seat, then you got the other guy beat.
Well, that sounds like a weird sex thing, but sure, go ahead.
He continues. When I had finished my duty?
Yeah.
Did you mean duty?
No, it was my duty to get the duty out.
Oh, jeez.
When I had finished my duty, no pun intended, I walked out of the restroom and back down the hall. However, I was no longer the only one in the shelter. Danny, other than the word Airbnb, apparently he can't use a word saved like twice. So
Trav,
he has now.
wait, what's on your hand?
Oh, it was just a sticker that I've been playing with, but but the shelter.
This Airbnb has been downgraded to a shelter.
Yeah, he said Airbnb about 15 times, so now he's just calling it a shelter. So instead, my entire group had decided to enter this household and had made themselves at home. Freaking weird people. Within the handful of minutes that I had spent attending to my important personal matters, these guys had completely
now he's decided to get really dignified about it. Earlier, he describes it as the weight within his colon, and now he's like, well, I was taking a moment to deal with personal matters. I don't want to bore you with the details. Now you're all clean and delicate, but before, it's like, I dropped a douche in my pants.
You gotta in a good story, Trev. You gotta have like character arcs, right? So you gotta like.
So you've grown to a dignified, decent human being who breaks into bathrooms of Airbnbs and then allows his whole family to come in and hang out in the living room while you.
These guys had completely trashed this unit. They were all sitting in the living room playing video games, had food strewn about everywhere, had open drink containers all over without any coasters, and had broken several pieces of furniture. What happened? I yell at them. They all look at me like I was the crazy one. Yeah, Danny, you are the crazy one.
You are.
You're the first one that broke in, that took a deuce in somebody's bathroom, and you just let the rest of them in.
I don't know that I broke in. The door just opened.
That's breaking and entering. Just literally by the definition of the law, it's still breaking it.
Just because my door is unlocked does not mean that anyone can just walk in my house.
To poop, nonetheless.
Number one, you're not like a cop that can just claim that, oh, the door was a crack and I heard a scream. Like,
NYPD, I heard a scream in here. Where's your bathroom?
Where's your bathroom?
They all looked at me like I was the crazy one, then resumed what they were just doing. Well, I'm not just going to stay here until the homeowners come home and see what they had done to this place. Therefore, I decided to leave the house and exit the area as quickly as possible.
That's super nice of you, Danny, to be really thoughtful like that, to let everybody in, watch a whole bunch of problems, and then just leave for them to deal with it.
Not owning up to any of the, responsibility that you now carry.
Rather than fix it, I decided to do what was best and get the hell out of there.
Why would I take the fall for their mess?
It's not their mess. It's your mess.
My mess cleanly went down the pipes.
You, in the book The Cat in the Hat, you were the little kids who let the cat into the building. There's nothing. It's your fault. Just because the cat made the mess, you're the one that opened the door.
Yeah, and the way you described the deuce you had to take, I don't think it cleanly went down the pipes. I'm sure you left some skid marks in the toilet.
Yeah, that was at least a double flusher.
Yeah, I flushed a couple times. I used their little cleaner brush.
You did not.
I used their little
save face. Some poopery. So you're spraying before you.
What did you say?
I don't think that was Danny trying to say he sprayed something. I think he was stuttering. He was
sprayed stuff.
I used their.
I was having a hard time remembering what a brush was called.
These are the parts that I like to go back and listen to, just when Danny stutters words. I began to hastily walk up the street and toward a steep mountain trail. As I power walked away from all of this calamity, I could just see him like power walking and keep looking back just to make sure. that the
I gotta get
owners
outta
haven't
here.
come home. I could hear some footsteps coming up from behind me. I turned my head a bit to see who was coming. Turned out to be my wife and my son's mom. That's a weird triangle. They immediately began to sympathize with me and express their similar feelings to the situation. This is where Danny's subconscious comes in and just tells him it's okay. But it's really not.
You gotta
They
live
come
with
in the
yourself
form of-
somehow.
They come in the form of his wife and his baby mama. They let me know that they were the only two in that house, besides myself, who had not made a mess or destroyed anything. I griped to them for the next several minutes about how inconsiderate it is to walk into someone's Airbnb that we had not rented and make a mess of the place. All of a sudden, he's so high and mighty.
I know. How dare you, you disgusting monsters.
We didn't even rent that place.
Also, can I just ask, what happened to the dude that came in the window with you? He just left?
Because I claimed it first.
Well, that was his sole appearance in this dream, was him coming in and being like, can I use it? And you're like, sorry, pal, it's taken. He's like, well, I'll find another.
Yeah, pretty much.
Could you imagine if like dream people became real just for like a moment? Like that's like his sole purpose in life. He was created. His sole existence was to like break into an Airbnb bathroom only to find it occupied. Then he just poof was gone.
I would like to know who Danny passed a lot like in the street somewhere. That's him. He's the one that popped in who needed to also go to the
Yeah,
bathroom.
just some guy that
Like
came
somehow
to
I
Danny
just
at work.
registered it. Just like subconsciously, I'm like held it. Like,
Yeah.
this guy will be useful in a few weeks when I have a specific dream.
He's like the guy who like worked at like the McDonald's drive-thru, and now he has to be like punished in your subconscious as being like a guy trying to find a toilet, eternally unable to find a place to poop.
Because, yeah, we don't know the end of the story. Did he ever make it? We'll never
Yeah.
know.
Guy
So
just
right now,
dumping
he's
his
just running
pants.
around.
Usually, I follow myself in my dreams, not other people.
I want to follow that guy's story. Where did he go?
Yeah, yours is
We'll
dumb.
have like dream spin-offs. Let's follow this guy.
He
The
like had
journey
to
of
go
the
in the
man who
woods.
also had to poop.
He had to go in the woods, and he ended up getting attacked by a bear.
They used one of his socks as a piece of toilet paper because
Yeah.
the leaves were all pokey.
The end of his dream is him saying, "The moral of the story is pine cones are not acceptable toilet paper."
All right.
Form.
The two of them agreed and offered up a solution. They let me know that they would be happy to call the police and report the incident. Isn't this all your family and friends?
Also, isn't it your son? Is Kai there?
Yeah,
you're ratting
like
on
this
him?
is your
I'll be honest, I don't think Kai was in there. From what I remember, it was all adults because they were partying and drinking.
Either way, you describe them as your
They
extended
had
family.
food, like they had ordered pizza.
Danny's loyalties
Yeah.
are short.
I mean,
Lures
I
you
can
into
put up with a
house.
lot, but I draw the line at at making a mess in somebody else's house.
But not taking a dump. You don't draw the line there. Gotta go, you gotta go. But eating
Of
that
course-
person's Doritos in their living room and not using coasters, get out of here.
Pretty much.
Of course, they would leave our names out of the report as persons that had been in the house. So is that your like, those are your what are they called? Holy crap.
What?
I can't remember the word, but basically you're saying, all right, we'll
Conditions?
tell you.
It's
who
his
did it."
bargaining chip.
Yeah, his bargaining chip. As long as we're left out of the report.
Danny his subconscious is a rat. It's just like immediately like being like, look, I'll tell you where they are, but you just gotta like, man, you gotta like freaking leave me out of it. No loyalty, just whoosh.
He basically wants immunity.
We could just make it an anonymous tip, they say. I tell them that, as frustrated as I am, I don't want to get the police involved and have anyone charged with breaking and entering or vandalism. Yeah, of course you don't want breaking and entering because you're the one that did it.
Yeah, the moment that large group of people are like, how'd you get in the house? It's like, well, our friend Danny came in here to poop. You're out of luck.
I tell them that I just need to cool off, and the best way for me to do this is to head home now. This was roughly the time that I reached the end of the dirt mountain trail. The culmination of the trail led right into the base of a very large tree, whose trunk grew at roughly a 45-degree angle and hugged the side of a 50-foot tall cliff. The tree served as nature's makeshift ramp. One could scale the trunk of the tree and slowly scooch themselves up to the top of the cliff, kind of like you see islanders do with palm trees and tropical islands in order to fetch a few prized coconuts from the top.
I think that description made it harder for me to follow along. I was like tracking okay, and then you described that, and I was like, wait a minute, I am now confused. What angle is this thing?
Are you talking about when they have like the rope that they strap around it and they kind of like use the rope?
No.
Do they have a
no,
rope?
he's
They
not
just
a
kind of go up it and like shimmy up with put their like feet and use their feet kind of as like a second pair of hands.
So like just climbing a tree basically.
What are you saying?
Like, do you guys watch?
They have a second pair of hands.
Like when they climb the tree, they kind of like cup the tree of the trunk of the palm tree with their.
No,
legs.
Danny, I know what you're saying. You're describing a monkey is what you're doing. And I just think that it's wrong. You could have said, like a monkey does. You didn't have to say like islanders do.
Oh, okay.
I also still don't think that's like super accurate because like a 45-degree angle and it's like up a cliff. Like I just don't understand.
Yeah, where did they get on top like this and just like shimmy up?
Yeah,
Just feels.
but like it's right next to a cliff. So here's a cliff, and here's the tree. So you kind of like just shimmy up the tree right up next to the cliff.
Oh, it's not perpendicular to the cliff.
I thought
like
it was perpendicular to the cliff as well.
It's more like
Oh, it's
parallel.
more
to
like parallel to the cliff.
Okay.
I don't know if parallel is the right word,
But yeah,
Having
you know, adjacent.
These are all real words in American Sign Language. By the way.
Having this tree here is handy, as it's a quick way to get to the top of the cliff. Yet it does get fairly tiring, as it takes a lot out of you to pull yourself along for such a long stretch. Eventually, I make my way to the top and head over toward the local mountain tram system. These trams are here to take people up and down the mountain, to and from the main valley in which I live. In which I live in.
in which in the valley in which. In.
It doesn't take me long to locate the tram I need and stand in line to board. As I stood in line, I was approached by male transit... What are you? As I stood in line, I was approached by male transit employee. Would you like me to take that for you, sir? He asks. Take what? I say. He then mentions toward my left hand. Gestures.
I say mentioned or motioned.
Oh, motions. He then motions toward my left hand.
He then mentioned toward my left hand.
Left hand. Left hand.
I looked down to see that somehow I had acquired an infant car seat. Fortunately, with no baby inside. Not sure how I even ended up with this thing. I instinctively declined his offer. No, it's mine. It's my baby seat. What are you going to do with it? He didn't put that in there.
Oh.
This was then followed by immediate guilt. Why? As I had no use for a baby car seat and regretted not taking the gentleman up on his proposal. Why guilt, though?
Yeah.
I feel like you should have had guilt breaking into the house, not giving
All
a
right.
man.
Maybe like remorse would be a better.
Yeah, it wasn't like, was he holding a baby that he's like, I wish I had a baby? That might be guilt. But if he just wants to take it from you, I don't know.
Because really, like in the end, I was like, oh yeah, this is more of a pain than it's worth.
Yeah.
I don't really need a baby.
I think regret might be the word you were looking for, not guilt.
Yeah, that's probably
Struck
better.
with guilt over the fact that I had to carry this thing.
What am I gonna do with this car seat? I thought to myself. Luckily, someone was smile down on me. Luckily, someone was smile down on me at that moment.
It's the god of grammar blessing this sentence.
I think I just need to read this like he's a caveman. Luckily, someone was smile down on me at that moment. As there
happy.
just so happened to be a car seat collection.
Wait, what? Is that really the next sentence?
Yeah, there just so happened to be a car seat collection bin located right next to me at that exact moment. Please, sir, deposit your car seat in the car seat collection bin.
I feel like Danny's dreams just flow to his whims. 100%. He's like, I don't want to carry this car seat. Oh, a car seat deposit bin. I need somewhere to poop. Oh, an empty house. This bathroom's occupied only by me. That poor guy still wandering around.
I do have to circle back a little bit. Like, did you actually go to the bathroom? Because I'm pretty sure if you go to the bathroom in your dreams, you go to the bathroom in real life. So did you crap yourself?
I've gone to the bathroom a lot in my dreams, and I didn't go in my real life.
That's
that I know of.
I don't know. It's all very suspicious.
Should we even get into the time that you framed me for peeing the bed?
That's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, it is a whole other podcast. So I then boarded the tram to see that this tram was mostly filled with stacked chairs. Each stack was approximately 12 chairs high, but at this point I was too tired to care and just wanted to get home. So I selected a stack, climbed up to the side, and sat down on the top seat. I watched as about a dozen or so other people who entered the tram behind me all follow suit and made their way up to the top of their own stack of chairs. It wasn't long before the tram left the station and began his descent toward the city. Once I was back in the city, I hopped on a city bus, made my way toward the back, and sat on the last row. This bus route did not go directly to my house. I don't think many buses do go directly to your house.
Unless you just so happen to live on the bus route.
Is this
see, Trav, at Mydell, like, obviously my dreams don't go to all my whims.
I'm just waiting for the driver to be like, but the driver decided to cater over to me and take me directly to my house and gave me a lollipop before I got off the bus, which was exactly what I was hoping I would have.
I can see him getting in the bus and being like, depositing his change and being like, to my house, sir. He's like, I don't know where that is. I don't go directly to houses. And that's why I went and sat in the back row, because he was pouting. Did not get to go.
My dreams do what I want. And I want the bus to go to my house, so you're gonna do it.
Is this still the Airbnb house you're going to?
I think I'm actually going home.
He's just fed up with the whole staycation.
The pooping thing was really traumatic. He's out of here. Mini vacation over. Or staycation, as you referred to it.
So, this bus route did not go directly to my house, but I knew that it would stop a couple miles from where I lived. I figured this would be close enough for me to then walk home from there. As the bus began its route, I settled in a bit, as I knew that my stop was a way away. I knew that my stop was a way away.
Away.
What does that
How
mean?
would you say that?
A ways
It wasn't
away.
like he said
Oh,
away,
ways away.
A-W-A-Y twice. He said way away.
My stop was away.
However, at the very next stop, a young gentleman, a woman of about the same age,
Wait,
and
what?
a girl who
Oh,
appeared to be
I thought it was
A
like
woman-
a transsexual or something.
yeah, I thought it was a transgender
No.
person. A young gentleman about my age, a girl. I was like, I got you. I'm tracking.
However, at the very next stop, a young gentleman, a woman of about the same age, and a girl who appeared to be roughly 12 years old boarded the bus. I could tell right away that the older girl seemed frustrated and unhappy, and it didn't take me long to figure out why. As soon as the bus resumed its
Someone
route,
pooped in our Airbnb. It's like Goldilocks, the story. Three bears. This toilet's just right. Man, it's okay. You dump it.
as soon as the bus resumed its route, the young man began to insult and berate the girl. From what I could catch of the one-sided conversation, it appeared that this girl was his girlfriend. He was screaming profanities at her and making her feel horrible. Not only that, she seemed very intimidated by him, as he was the type of guy who looked like he had consumed a few too many steroids in his life. He had a cut-off t-shirt and holes in his jeans and a bulging vein in his neck.
Well, thank heavens that ended that way.
Thank God you said vein in his neck.
Oh, gosh.
Oh,
Jeans
thank
and a
heavens.
bulging package in his pants. Okay. Random detail, but
No, you know, if you take steroids, you don't have a bulge anymore in your pants.
yeah, it's true. But I'm just glad the sentence went the way it did.
I thought steroids only affect the two veg, not the meat.
I don't know.
I've never
I've
looked
heard
at
that
that
terminology before.
Over
Never
the
heard
next few
Meat and
minutes,
two veg.
nope.
Nope. Is it?
I've heard
why?
Franks and beans.
Franks and beans. Is that why?
Fine. It only affects the beans, not the Frank.
Like, why couldn't it? Why isn't that? Why couldn't it just be like, it only affects the fruit cups and not the bread stick?
Okay.
Croissant.
Over the,
Who eats fruit cups with breadsticks? Who combines those two?
Who combines veggies with anything?
You go to Olive Garden and be like, "Can I get the unlimited breadsticks and you guys have
Fruit
fruit
cups.
cups?"
When you're here, your family and six.
That's what, this is the only thing that he's. Danny's just right now looking at his refrigerator and being like, "All right, what do I got in here? I got breadsticks and fruit cups."
What can I use to describe the men's genitalia? Breadsticks and fruit cups. It would be more like fruit cup with just
Yeah.
two fruits inside it. But anyway, let's go on.
Over the next few minutes, I, along with everyone else on the bus, watched as this man kept throwing verbal jabs at this poor woman. On several occasions, I wrestled with the idea of standing up and saying something to this guy, but couldn't quite bring myself to get into their business. That was until the 12-year-old girl that had got on the bus with them, whom I assumed to be this man's little sister. Or were they? I'm assuming they were young enough that couldn't have been their daughter, right?
Yeah, like they were like probably like early 20s.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Finally, couldn't stand what he was doing anymore and decided to confront him. Unfortunately, he did not like this one bit and proceeded to slap his little sister in the face. grabbed her by the hair, and began dragging her down the center aisle in the bus as she kicked and screamed in pain. What is going on?
I
I
know.
feel like that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
He was very scary. He was just like,
Roid rage.
yeah. Trying to think of like, it's like that brother in Stranger Things, I feel like. The older brother of the redheaded girl who's just like crazy sometimes.
This was the final straw. I could no longer bite my tongue and watch as he hurt these poor girls. I stood up and yelled in a stern and unwavering voice.
Don't!
You better stop and let go of that little girl right now.
That's not unwavering.
I don't care if she is your sister. You cannot treat her with anyone else this way. Sorry, you have a stutter.
I'm pretty sure it's like, yo, put that girl down and you will answer to my fist.
It's obviously...
Foot up
Danny,
to his
I just
face
have a
like
hard
this.
time seeing you like stand up and really be assertive when this guy towers you and could just murder you. So that is why you were kind of more timid and stuttery.
It's like in Back to the Future, like, hey, you get your damn hands off her.
Hey,
you.
You better stop and let go of that little girl right now. I don't care if she is your sister. You cannot treat her or anyone else this way.
Wait, did Danny make that assumption inside the script?
What?
He says, I don't care if she's your sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, earlier I assumed that she was his sister.
I know you did, but did you have to say it out loud? Because almost immediately be like, she's not my sister. And then you're kind of in a weird spot.
This obviously pissed this guy off, but did result in the action.
And then that's where Dan goes, I would never do anything to offend a man of your size, sir.
As he let go of his sister and turned his gaze toward me, he slowly stomped his way down the center aisle toward the back of the bus where I was standing. He began to swear at me, calling me all kinds of terrible names, and ultimately challenged me to a fight. The closer he got to me, the more I realized that this was one huge, roided up dude whom I was not too keen of getting punched by. Of course, I had to stand my ground in this situation and did not flinch even when he got within 2 inches of my face.
So he threw a fake punch?
I'm sure that translates really well to the audio version.
Yeah.
Just silence, and then all of us being like,
This is what I see Danny doing, like, when he goes to punch him in the face, like Jim Carrey in Dumb and Dumber, when he's like, is it Dumb and Dumber when he, like, kind of puts his face up? He's like, hit me. Just does his face. No? Okay.
I don't think
We'll
that's
move on.
Dumb and Dumber.
Is it
Is
Ace
that Dumb and
Ventura?
Dumber?
Is it Dumb and Dumber?
That's Ace Ventura, maybe.
Nah. I just watched both of those.
Liar, liar.
Did they hold up, the Ace Ventura movies?
Number 1 does, not number 2.
Even when he comes out the rhino?
Like, I laughed, but yeah. I originally, when I was talking to Quincy about it, I told her that my wife, just in case anybody wants to know, I told her that I liked number 2 the best. And then as I watched them both, I was like, nope.
Really?
Definitely
I
doesn't
always
hold
thought
up.
number 2 is the better one.
I love
Nope.
number 2, but I think it's like... just
Watch him
the
again.
fact that we were
Isn't
young.
that the slinky one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
watch it again. It's
I'm kind
not
of
as
afraid
cool.
to watch it
It's
again.
the-
I just...
Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes, all of the above. Watch number 1, then watch number 2, and you will be disappointed. So,
I don't want
Anyway.
to watch them.
I had to stand my ground in this situation and did not flinch, even when he got within 2 inches of my face. In a calm, cool, and collected manner, I said to him, I will fight you anytime, anywhere, as long as I have the opportunity to get scum like you off the streets.
Did I really write that?
Yes, Danny. I don't make that up.
That's where,
I'll
that's where
fight you.
one person on the bus just goes.
This comment, of course, charged him up even more. Just before he had a chance to throw the first punch, I was able to talk him into not fighting on the bus.
How
I
much how
explained
fast
to
did you
him
talk?
that there...
He goes like this.
a slow puncher.
Before he had time to throw the first punch, I was able to debate the First Amendment with him, letting him know just exactly where he stood within the arms of the law. But did he think twice before he came to finish that punch?
I explained to him that there were too many innocent bystanders. Isn't it standards? Bystanders?
No, it's standers,
Is it
because they're like
standards?
Bystanders.
Bystanders. Okay.
because
But
they're standing by.
Got it.
Yeah,
But that
bystanders are like an 8 if it's a female, a 7 if it's a male.
Okay, got it. Bystanders. But that I'd be happy to get off at the next stop with him and we could duke it out on the sidewalk. Right then and there. He agreed, and we waited for what seemed like an eternity for the bus to reach the next bus stop. Once the bus came to a complete stop and the doors swung open, I mentioned to him to get off the bus, saying something snarky like, "After you." He quickly obliged and jumped off the bus while doing a little shadow boxing to get ready for our bout. Seeing this as my opportunity, I yelled at the bus driver to shut the door and drive away. Hurry! Go!
I ain't no fool.
I'll see you out there. Go, go, go!
So he was out there, he stepped off the bus and he's just like,
Yeah. He's just like getting ready for the fight, and I was like, go, 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 go.
I've been on a lot of buses. I've been taking the buses of commuting for over 10 years now. I don't think that bus driver would have helped you out. I think it would have been like, well, let's make sure everybody's off first, and that goes back on the bus to keep you there.
The bus driver, who also was not a fan of this hothead, was more than happy to go along with my plan and pressed his foot down on the gas pedal until it hit the floor. The bus screeched away from the bus station, but it only took a couple of seconds. It only took a couple of seconds for the crazy man to realize what was going on. He then immediately began pursuit of the bus on foot.
Hey, your picture.
Yeah.
Everyone on the bus, including myself, were screaming, "Go, go, go," as the bus driver, as we could tell this gentleman was starting to catch up. It's moments like these when you realize just how slowly buses accelerate.
And also what a large coward you are in the way you trick somebody off the bus by telling them you'll fight them.
See, you might see it as cowardice. I see it as genius.
Finally, we picked up enough speed to separate ourselves from the man a bit. Just then,
what if your stop or your house was literally like a block down the road? Now he knows where you live.
He's like, here you go, sir. Just like I asked you. I told you I'd take it right to your door. We don't normally do this. You're like, son of a gun. Really screwed right now.
Just then, the bus driver yells back toward me, "There is another bus stop right around this upcoming corner that I'm supposed to stop at." Are you kidding me? He wants us to stop so that he can catch up to us, I yell back. Keep going. The nice bus driver does me this solid and blows right past this bus stop without missing a beat. People are like, "Hey!"
Here's another one of those victims of Danny's circumstance. This guy's like, okay, I'm running a little late, but if I catch this next bus, I'll be in time for the job interview that'll get me the insurance so that my wife can finally have that cancer treatment she needs. As long as, oh my gosh, the bus just blew past. What happened? Poor bastard. Another victim, just like the guy that needed to poop in that house.
Rydell just likes to follow the lives of everyone else in the dream.
I could see all of the confused faces on the people waiting at the bus stop as they watched the bus drive right on by without stopping. Skipping this stop gave us a bit of cushion, but sadly, it also happened to be rush hour, and we kept getting stuck at various stoplights and intersections. Luckily, we were always able to get going again, just as the scary man would start to close in on us. It was
How long is he pursuing you? You just
barely a
doesn't
while.
give up?
He's on all those
Is his
roids.
sister and girlfriend still on the bus with you?
Yeah, they're still on there.
It was at roughly this time that the others on the bus were starting to catch on that I'd rather not go.
I don't even need you to finish this sentence, and I already find this really funny.
I'd rather not go mono-e-mono with this guy.
I like how it took this long for the people to catch on. Not when you tricked him off the bus and shouted, "Go, go!" Only like 3 stops later, they're like, well, I don't think this guy actually wants to fight this dude. I think I'm starting to pick up on something here. The way he made us blow past all those guys back at the stop back there. Now he's sweating really nervously. He keeps looking out the back window shouting, "Go, go, go." He's catching up. I'm starting to think this guy don't want to fight this guy.
You got to stay above 55.
I believe it was just 50 out.
Was it 50?
Stay above 50.
Yeah, that wouldn't be so hard.
Danny, do you know what mono-e-mono means?
Like, does it mean like one-on-one?
No. A mono in Spanish is hand, so hand to hand. It's
Oh, is it?
yes. So it's he spelled it MONO-E-MONO, and it's just mono. I'd rather not go mono-e-mono. They began asking me questions about it, such as, why don't you want to fight this guy? He is a jerk. I tried to explain to them that I agree that he is an ass, but that I'm just not the fighting type and will try to avoid, you even say it here, and will try to avoid hand-to-hand combat whenever possible.
Or as they say in Spanish, el hand to el hand.
I tell them that I stepped in because no one should ever treat people the way he was treating his girlfriend and sister. But once he stopped, wait, hold on. I totally lost. Okay, but once he stopped hurting them, I was content. I think they could see where I was coming from and decided to drop the issue. The conversation then transitioned from my willingness to get in a fist fight to that of what I plan to do when I get to my stop. They asked me if my stop is close to my house. I tell them that it is a couple of miles away from my house, but that my plan was to walk home. It was just a long sentence. What is your plan? Huh? You don't want to fight him? What is your plan then when you get off your stop? Is the stop close to your house? It's actually a couple of miles away. My plan is to walk home.
Same plan as when I got on this bus. Nothing's changed.
Nothing.
To walk home.
It's not a complicated plan.
So let me get this straight, young man. You challenged this roided fellow, got him so upset he's chasing this bus for miles. And your plan is to walk home when you get off the bus?
It's dark outside, so, you know?
You'd think you would get an Uber as someone who likes the Airbnb.
There's been lots of opportunities in this story for Danny to get an Uber, and he has not taken it. He could have got an Uber when he needed to go to the bathroom. He could have gotten an Uber after he broke into the house and wanted to leave. He could have gotten an Uber instead of taking the bus home. He could get an Uber getting off the bus. He knows to say Airbnb 1,000 times, but does Uber or Lyft come up? Nope.
They ask me if I will have a bunch of friends picking me up at the bus stop. Perhaps they can help protect you. I tell them that no one was planning on picking me up at the bus stop, that I just had plans to walk home alone.
Yeah, it's because you already ratted out your whole family to the police. The Airbnb.
Yeah, they're like,
They're not your friends anymore.
they're like, you've got friends coming around. You're like, sadly, all my friends are still at the house where I broke in to poop into the toilet without asking for permission. They're like, get this fool off the bus. It's as bad as that guy.
One guy on the bus then asked me what I do for a living. I let him know that I play for the Carolina Panthers NFL team.
What? Why?
Okay.
I can't help it that I'm good at football.
You're not good at football. And
Why the
that's
Panthers?
just a lie.
Trader?
Yeah, why the Panthers?
What are you?
I don't know. It's just whatever. I can't control my subconscious.
Deep down
He's
inside,
Cam
Danny
Newton.
is a Panther fanatic.
Yeah.
Also, we know you live near the Rocky Mountains. Your story established as such at the start. So, do you travel to play for the Panthers?
Yeah, it's like the off season right
No
now.
one on this bus believed you when you said that. Like,
Yeah, because
so
well,
cowardly
except-
boy who ran from that fight. What do? I play for the Carolina Panthers, all-star quarterback. Uh-huh.
Not even a kicker would cow down to a bully.
Why are you on a bus if you're a quarterback for the Panthers?
I didn't say I was the quarterback. I
Well,
just
why are
said
you on a
play
bus if you play
Yeah,
for the
the-
Panthers?
even
Are
if
you a
you're a
tight
bench
end?
player, you're minimum like $300,000 a year.
Yeah, you
You're
can at
riding
least
public
afford a
transport.
car. Let me get this straight, son. You're a member of the Panthers who broke into someone's house to poop, and then took a bus home, and then walked after challenging a guy
Also-
to a fight?
You're freaking cheap ass. In the very beginning, you said that all of the family had to scrimp together to get the Airbnb.
You're the worst. This dream is the worst. This is Danny at his worst. Everything about
Danny, you're a freaking NFL football player. You couldn't just, you could just help your friends out and just be like, hey, guess what, guys? I'm a professional NFL player. Airbnb's on me this time.
Or, just rent the Airbnb that you broke into to poop, or leave them some money to help pay for the damages that you caused in this situation. This is...
You know what kind of PR disaster that is for the NFL if that gets out?
Yeah, no
And you
kidding.
just broke into someone's house to poop?
Carolina
I mean,
Panthers
first of
receiver
all-
Danny Barnes was found breaking into a house, quote unquote, because his colon was heavy and needed a valve into the toilet. When
He was
confronted by a
quoted as
receiver from the
saying-
Green Bay Packers who also wanted to poop in the house, Danny was quoted as saying, "Get out of here. I was here first. If your butt touches the seat, you've got the other guy beat." That's his word, not mine.
That's
He was
just
quoted
the
as saying
scene.
it felt like a ton of bricks had hit my colon.
This is basically like if the Onion was doing an article on a NFL player. Okay, so
People
he
just
tells
would
them
have
I
less.
play for the Carolina Panthers NFL team. Really? They responded with glee. That same guy then suggests I give Luke Kuechly a call and give him meet me. What?
Ew.
I give Luke Kuechly a call and have him meet me at the bus stop. That way he will be there if the crazed guy shows up. I tell him that although that is a good idea, Luke is currently out of town and would be unable to meet me at the bus stop. He's also retired.
Yeah,
Well, he
I
wasn't
heroin.
retired when I had this dream.
A few minutes later, we pulled up to the final stop on this bus route. This just so happened to be the stop I needed to get off at as well. I figured at this point we may have created enough of a buffer that I may have just enough time to make my way through the bus terminal and far enough away that the guy would be unable to find me. Although I was fairly confident that the crazy dude had not had enough time to get here yet, I was still aware of my surroundings and continually checked over my shoulder for any sign of the guy. After several...
Danny's doing that, like running through the crowd, just plowing through people. Move, get out of my way, get out.
He's just telling people, he's like, or just no one, that he's like, better not mess with me. I play for the Panthers. Trust
I like
me.
one too.
After several over
Didn't I have a Black Panther in Dream number 7 or something like that?
You had
Sure
a
you
Black
did.
Panther?
A
I
Black
don't remember.
Panther.
It was like the hospital dream.
Yes, you fought one. Sort of, or you ran.
It's like a
from one.
giant. It was a giant Black Panther.
We
Yeah.
ran from one based on what we're seeing here.
Yep. After
Tricked that
several
one
of
panther to get off the bus and then told the driver to run. Drive! The panther's off the bus.
After several over-the-shoulder glances, I did eventually catch a glimpse of something out of the corner of my eye that threw me off a bit. I say the silhouette of a super ripped, super jacked man walking up right behind me.
That's probably
This-
him.
With his
Pretty
shirt
likely.
off.
In a bulging vein.
He's like, subconsciously, I was praying it was Luke Kuechly.
I know you. I see the silhouette of a super ripped, super jacked man walking up right behind me with his shirt off. I turn around to get a better gauge what I had just seen. It wasn't until the man was right next to me that I recognized that it was the bus driver. Podcast all of his stops for me. He let me know that he hates bullies and will walk me home just in case we encounter the steroid-fueled psycho. I thank him for his help, and the two of us walk off toward my house. This is when I woke up.
Great. Okay. So now the dude's daughter and girlfriend are just helpless, stuck in the bus with no protection as the man's running towards them.
Well, I figure they could get off and run
At
too.
what point in time did the bus driver take off his shirt?
Also,
like,
he's so
"Don't
roided.
worry.
Why didn't he take care of this from the
Don't
start?
worry, Danny. I'm
Don't worry,
super
Danny.
jacked.
If there's two things I love, it's the Carolina Panthers and people who stand up to bullies. And you know what, buddy? You're both of those things.
I don't know. I
Man.
was just appreciative that he would help me out in that tough spot.
How far did you walk before he caught up to you?
I
I
was-
feel like he sat back in the bus being like, I don't know, do I go after him? I think him and I connected in a weird way. If I take off my shirt, will that be too much? Hey, Danny, it's me, the bus driver. Anyway, I hate bullies too. Let me walk you home. Basically.
Well,
now that you guys put it that way, it does sound a lot weirder than it just seemed normal in my dream.
this was just like the biggest. This dream, like morally, just confusing. Just, I think you were super confused about something. So, and I don't know what it was because there's so many confusing things in this. But
I do think
anyway,
after credits scene of Danny's dream would be that guy still trying to find a place to poop. Being like, I still have to go, wandering around. Or maybe
If
it's
only
like
there was an Airbnb app for bathrooms.
I just wish there was a place for me to poop. Maybe if I catch this next bus, I'll be able to get home in time. Woo! Oh, why'd the bus blow by? Oh, no. How that guy's recounting his dream to his podcast people in an alternate reality. He's like, we're going to go to get into the bathroom, and there's some dude in there, and he tells me to get out. So I go to the bus stop, and the bus just blows by. I don't know why. Anyway, I'm sweating. I've got 6 bricks worth of poop in my pants. I have no idea what's happening. Why was this dream called "You better check yourself before you wreck yourself"?
Because he was going to fight a guy.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. I still stand by squatters' rights.
The moral of the story for the other guy is, well, from now on, I know you got to have your bare butt touch the seat. Wait, how did it go?
First bare butt to touch the seat. The other guy's beat or something like that. I don't know. Sounds super sexual and weird. When 2 bare cheeks touch, you know the one who gets the bus is the winner.
No, it doesn't work. It has to rhyme.
No, that one didn't rhyme. It's getting late here. I'm growing tired of rhymes.
We're at the end, but this was a good one. There's a lot to talk about, so we might have gone over a little bit, but there were too many jokes that could not go untold. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. You know, obviously we did. Sorry for the glitch in the middle, but Alan is a wizard with this tech stuff, so probably won't even notice much. So anyway, thanks again for listening.
Your disclaimer that you made saying we had.
Well, I know. I'm just saying maybe.
Yeah,
maybe it's like it ends and then
you just come back in and
cleanly. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you can do, Alan. I just tried to give you props, and then you just
threw him back in your face.
We could have just had Trav say, "Welcome back from a commercial break," and we could have just inserted a commercial in there
for Airbnb. Have you ever looked for a place to poop in desperation but couldn't find one? Boy, have we got the app for you. Airbnb Squatter's Pot. Simply load it up and find the nearest bathroom that you can drop a deuce in. No questions asked.
And then it cuts to that scene from what's that movie? With Marlon Wayans, where like that girl goes in and is like, "Corn? I don't need no corn."
This is another 90s reference.
Dream if you know what I did last summer. I don't know. Marlon Wayans movie.
It's called Senseless.
Yeah, Senseless.
Annie. Okay. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. Check us out on our social media pages. Just search for QCode Podcast. You can find us on pretty much on any of the platforms. Apple Podcasts, Google, whatever. I don't remember all of them.
Google Play.
But yeah. But we will. We're going to continue to do these as long as Danny has dreams. So make sure that you tune in every time, because you never know if it's going to be a regular episode or this episode. But all right, have yourself a good week. We'll see you next time.